The NFL draft is done and over, and I am going to be breaking down each and every team and grading out their draft. So check back every day, because one team I will do every single day, and I'll have it up here on YouTube for you to watch. We'll go over every prospect that they drafted, as well as some key undrafted free agents that they may bring in. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section, and I'll be sure to address them for you. Also, just be aware on my draft grades, no one fails the draft, especially right after it. Even no one in this draft is going to get a D or an F from me, because everyone had a talent. Everyone did something. So if you think the grades are a little bit high, that's just me not going to too much extremes. And maybe in 3 or 4 years, when we look back on this draft, then we can see who really succeeded and who really failed. So sit back, relax, enjoy me as I break down every single team this year. The draft expert, Shane Hallam, shows off his knowledge. Writing mock drafts, prospects from the best college. Breaking down tape, he might develop a man crush. Tearing up guys, taking questions in a rush. Comparisons, learning lessons, Shane saves the day, hoy vey. Hulk or Banner, doesn't matter. Listen, cause here's who can play. Alright, today we are going to go over the Miami Dolphins and their draft. And I liked what the Miami Dolphins did. Now, before the draft, they traded the second-round pick for Brandon Marshall. So you got to include that in the mix here, because they get a top-tier wide receiver to come in and be someone that's going to make an impact for Chad Henne and this Miami Dolphins offense, something that they heavily lacked. Traded away Ted Ginn for a fifth. So now let's see what they did in the draft. In the first round, traded down, they would take Jared Odrick, defensive end out of Penn State, guy that's going to move probably to D-end for the Dolphins. Really put him opposite Philip Merling. I think you sure up that spot for 8-10 years. He's very solid. Has a little more dynamic upside than some of the other 5 techniques in this draft. I think he fits the Dolphins system pretty well. Makes good tackles. He can take up blocks. He gets off blocks pretty well. Gets out to the sideline in space pretty well too. So I like the Jared Odrick pick. I thought he was a little bit underrated and continued to be that way into the draft. In the second, they took Koa Misi, linebacker out of Utah, someone that converted from defensive end to linebacker, but he came into the All-Star games, showed up in a big way, looked like he played linebacker for years, very fluid. I think he might start from day one. People don't know too much about Koa Misi, but he is a very, very productive, very good pass rusher out of Utah. I think he's big. He's a little bigger guy. That's what the Dolphins like in there. They needed more of a pass rush. Put him on one side, put Cameron Wake on the other. I think you have a pretty good tandem there in Miami. So I really like the Koa Misi pick. Thought it was one of the better picks in the second round. The third, they took John Jerry, offensive guard. John Jerry's a guy I really liked. Had him as a second-round grade. I think he can come in, compete for a starting spot. Good strength, good footwork, good hands. He's not great at anything. He's not going to be great, but he's very solid. He can be a productive starter for you and really shore up either left or right guard position. I think he can play both. I like the John Jerry pick a lot. The fourth, they took A.J. Eads out of Iowa, a guy that could probably play inside linebacker, outside linebacker, depending on your fit. I think he'll probably play on the inside in Miami, give them a little bit of depth. He's not the most dynamic pass rusher in the world, someone that's probably a much better tackler, a pure tackler, more of a thumper in the middle. So I think that'd be his best fit. We'll see where Miami ends up putting him. But all in all, I think the A.J. Eads pick maybe a little bit high for him. I had him rated maybe a 5th-round grade, but should be a solid player. Really not taking too much risk here with this draft. Are the Dolphins. In the 5th, they took Nolan Carroll, quarterback out of Maryland. I thought Nolan Carroll was someone that would convert over to safety, but looks like the Dolphins are going to keep him a cornerback. And in Washington, Maryland, he got beat a lot, but he has good athleticism. He has pretty good upside. Should give you a decent reserve corner. I'd just be worried about him as a starter. He never will be a starter in the NFL. Best case is nickel corner. Probably better as a dime guy, so we'll see. Good athleticism, pretty good size. That's what they're looking for. High upside type of pick here. The 5th, they got Rashad Jones, safety out of Georgia. I like Rashad Jones. I'm a big fan of him. It was a need position for Miami. He's a guy that needs to work on his instincts, need to work on the way he breaks down plays in his mind, but very athletic, has a lot of upside. He's a kid that works hard, high character. I like Rashad Jones a lot. I think he can play free safety or strong safety depending on where you want to fit him in and what your other safety can do. The 7th, they took Chris McCoy, linebacker at Middle Tennessee State. And Chris McCoy is someone that will be another converting defensive end to linebacker. He's a bigger guy, about 261, 6'4", so he's the type of player that the Dolphins like to have off the pass rush. He needs some developing. He's very raw, but he was pretty productive at Middle Tennessee State. Also in the 7th, they took Austin Spittler, linebacker out of Ohio State. He's someone that's more of a workout warrior, very strong, but he doesn't get much of a pass rush. He's not going to give you that. He's going to be more of a thumper in the middle. He can get off blocks pretty well. He made a play here or there at OSU, but probably more of a special teamer when all said and done. So for the Dolphins, I'm giving them an A. I like this draft. I think they added talent that's going to start. They added Jared Odrick. They added Koamisi. They added John Jerry. 3 guys I think that can be instant starters. Plus, you traded for Brandon Marshall. You got yourself a #1 wide receiver. I got to give him credit for this, and I got to give him an A for it. So I like the draft by the Miami Dolphins. In terms of undrafted free agents, one guy that caught my eye was John Amia, safety out of Nevada. Very good special teamer. I just think he's going to be one of the better special teams players that come out of this draft. So I wouldn't be surprised if he makes this team because you always need that type of player on your team. So, oh no, I like a Miami Dolphins draft. There's not too much more I can say about it. I think it was solid. I think it was an A. I really think they're going to get starters. They're going to get a little bit better. And that's really what they were looking for here. They weren't looking for the high upside. They got that in Brandon Marshall. I think they were looking for solid players to shore up that defense. They shored up their run defense. They added a little bit of pass rush, and that's what they were looking for. If this offense takes a step forward, if the running game stays where it is, if Ronnie Brown can stay healthy, him and Ricky Williams could be a good duo, and then if Marshall works out, Henne works out, this can be a dynamic offense. It can be a much improved defense. I think the Miami Dolphins are on their way up, though it is going to be a tough division with the Patriots and Jets. Speaking of the Patriots, tomorrow, take a look here for New England's draft grade. So let me know what you thought about the Miami draft. Tell me in the comments, what's your grade on them, and do you agree or disagree with me?